Mirai learns the speeds that you demonstrate as you give examples of good movements, which means it tries to generally replicate the acceleration and deceleration you give during demonstrations. Now, that's not always what you want. Sometimes you want the skill to be executed slower than you did give the demonstrations. Most often you want it to be faster, and this can be configured in the execution speed dialog. So the way this works is there's just a dial that allows you to increase the execution speed like a fast forward button. It's of course good practice not to just dial this up to 3 times and just try what happened, but do small iterations and get closer to a safe speed. There's also a trade-off between execution precision and speed, because we need to brake, right? And the faster we make the robot, the quicker it needs to decide, okay, now I need to brake, and the skill is actually done and the end state is reached. So it's good practice to just take small steps towards the optimal execution speed. Sometimes when you want to really max out what you get out of a cycle and want to minimize the cycle time, you can go to the advanced speed profile, which allows you to not only configure a speed that is the new max speed, so dial it up to move faster. You can also configure a period of braking and then a second speed profile that will be used directly before the skill finishes. So you get a nice curve of being really fast early on, then you have a deceleration period, and then you have a period of slow movement towards the end of the skill when you typically make contact with the world and don't want to bump into things. The way to configure that is you set the accelerated speed, so the high speed, then you set the decelerated speed. Let's do something meaningful here. So just move this up and move this down. And then you configure how long the time span of deceleration and how long the time span of the slow movement towards the end of the skill is going to be. Again, you need to play with these numbers. You need to iterate and get closer. The typical way to do it is you first find a fast speed that is still safe. And then you try to minimize the forces that you're applying to the world as you bump into things by configuring the deceleration in the end.